Welcome back, everyone, to Two Guys and a Stack of Comics. Mike, we are already at June. We are at the start of June. We are at summer. We are halfway through the year, basically. But we wanted to make sure we kind of go back and recap the best books that we feel were out there in May of 2024. So we're going to go through our top selections for 2024 for May. Not as good a month as last month. I felt like there was better books last month than this month, but we still had some pretty solid selections across the board. So, Mike, I will kick it to you. What do you got on the top of your stack of comics this month for folks to pick up?
Oh my gosh, there was some good ones, and I will start it off with the end of Blade Runner 2039. Um, this was an awesome end to the series that's been going for 12 issues. I love it. It is Titan Comics.
They're doing a lot of
I
good
always
work.
tell Titan Comics is they got that third staple in the middle. Great art, great storytelling. Just a fun read for you Blade Runner fans. And I would say if you're a Blade Runner fan and you haven't picked up Blade Runner comics, um, go ahead and give them a try. Every year they go up a decade. I think they started in 2018, then they did Blade Runner 20. No, they did Blade Runner 2019, then Blade Runner.
They did 2029 a little bit ago, and then we're at
They did
2039. And
2029, now 2039. And then next year, of course, it's going to be 2049 with hopefully some cool tie-ins and stuff to the movies. I enjoy that one every month. I'm looking forward to Blade Runner 2049. Um, the Black Panther.
Ultimate
I
Black Panther #4. Yeah.
Yes, I loved this issue, how it kind of brought the team together. But we'll see how far that team goes, but some really interesting stuff going on with
It's
Black
refreshing
Panther.
to get a Black Panther comic that actually treats T'Challa well.
I
Um,
know
we
he's the
got a video
king.
coming up about some stuff Marvel's doing with T'Challa that kind of ties into issue 4 that hopefully folks will enjoy after this one. But yeah, no, really, really solid issue. I think they've done a really good job with Ultimate Black Panther so far.
Okay, my two favorite for the month. Big surprise. I don't know which one I liked better.
And
Um,
#11 and Batman First Night #3. Yeah.
right, Conan number 11. Just a great fun story. If this doesn't remind you of those old magazine painted covers that they did in the 80s, I don't know what does. That's just really cool. Um, great story, great art. I mean, just look at these double page spreads
Yeah. No,
with
Robert Del Torre doing great work on that. I know we have a
and
longer
Grim
form review of that.
Jim.
Yeah.
Grim Jim brings us
No,
the
they're
story.
really doing a great job with that book. And then we've got a longer form review of that one that'll post sometime in the next couple weeks. So
Oh my gosh,
hopefully
that
people can
was
check that
great.
one out.
And then coming in neck and neck, close second or whatever, the end of the first night. This book just blew me away. Got me to put Batman back on my sub list. I haven't had Batman on my sub list since 2018. And I just enjoyed the heck out of this book. The artwork is amazing. Every panel you want to take an extra look at. If you're one of those comic readers who finds yourself just turning pages because the artwork is like, and you're just trying to get through the story and absorb the story, this was not one of those books. This was one where I sat down and absorbed every panel and every page. So much care and everything done. And I did the same with Conan number 11 as well. The artwork is
Yeah,
just that good. And when you have that good of artwork and that good of storytelling, you can't
it
go
all
wrong.
comes together. No, I think those are two comics that really understand what this medium is still supposed to be, and that it's a mix of story and art. You can't compromise one and have the other carry it too much. And so, really strong books from there. Really sad to see First Night end. I know we'll get Conan going forever, hopefully, but sad to see First Night end. Hopefully, they'll kind of circle back to it at some point. We have For me, I agree with a lot of the ones that you had on there. Certainly, Conan would probably have been my top book of the month. First Night up there too. A couple different ones I had. I had a couple Marvel books this month. They did this one shot about Doctor Doom this month with Jonathan Hickman and Sanford Bring. Really good, creative kind of story. Really just sort of like an end of the time one shot of Doctor Doom. You get this really massive page here that kind
Oh,
of
that's
says
a nice
all
one.
the characters in the Marvel universe attacking Galactus. It was just a really interesting story, kind of set completely seemingly out of canon, but really was just an interesting thing. And they kind of just let Hickman and Sanford Green go loose for one comic. And sometimes you get magic with that. And I think this was absolutely when it hit for me. It was a great read. About 60, 70 pages, I think, on it too, or something like that. So a lot of room. You get 6.99. You get a lot of pages. Really good stuff there. Other Marvel one that stood for me, very similar to First Night. Very sad to see Avengers Twilight end. This is the 6th issue of this one. This is kind of like a Dark Knight Return story for Captain America and the Avengers. Kind of brings everything to a head. I thought they really nailed the landing on this one. One of the better Avengers stories I've read in a while, and I think one of the cool things is I the movies made me really like these characters so much. Brought back all my childhood memories of them. It was great to have a modern comic with those characters and see them act like they should act. I thought it was a really good conclusion and a great book overall. So I would have that there. The only DC book that I will lightly recommend outside of First Night, I did enjoy this Batman Dark Age #3 that came out. And so what this is this is Mark Russell and the Alrids on the art on here. It is a little cartoonish in terms of the art, but they have a very distinctive kind of style that shows with almost all of their issues.
Not
This is
bad.
kind of just telling an out of continuity story of a Bruce Wayne who lives on like a different Earth prior to Crisis on Infinite Earths. And it's basically just kind of walking you through him aging and getting older. Very similar like Spider-Man life story that came out a couple years ago. It's completely set differently, so it's a little bit like the Ultimate Universe where there's some different things happening, but it's a twist on familiar characters. I just thought the writing in this actual issue is pretty good. You get some really good Batman art in here as well. I thought some pretty well choreographed action scenes and stuff like that. And I just thought it was an interesting take for this month. I didn't really love the first two issues, but I will say I think the third issue really tied a lot of things well together. And again, for Batman, there's so many books. If you're gonna have one of these offshoots that's not in the main continuity, go for broke, and I will at least give them credit and that this is its own thing, and I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
Last two for me this month, I would have to give Ghost Machine credit on their second month of books. Both Redcoat #2 and Rook Exodus #2 were both excellent books. Both of these written by Jeff Johns. Brian Hitch is the artist on Redcoat, and then you've got Jason Fabok on Rook Exodus. Both of these were excellent, really well crafted. Redcoat's a very fun comic book. The guy is just such a kind of
Scoundrel.
dirtbag scoundrel
Scoundrel. He's an
character.
absolute
But
scoundrel.
it's funny. It has some things in there. It's a cool twist on history, and that he's kind of traveling through history and meeting different people who are kind of immortal like him. There's just some really cool storylines and fun things. It's a different comic book than you would typically read,
I
and I
gotta
think
get
that's really
issue
makes it
two.
fit well.
I
Yeah.
gotta get issue two.
Rook
Because
Exodus, another one here. This is a great science fiction kind of book, and again, it just picks up really well on the events of issue one. Great art in this book from Jason Fabok. I mean, just so many cool, different kind of scenes and designs
wow.
and things that he goes into detail on each page. He really just knocks it out of the park, and I have to give Ghost Machine a lot of credit. Geiger came out this month as well. I wasn't as big a fan of issue two of Geiger. It was still very solid, but not quite to the par of these two. But I have to give Ghost Machine a lot of credit. You can see the difference it makes when you get creators like Johns and Fabok and Brian Hitch and Gary Frank to be on their own books and kind of just let them do what they do. And it's really depressing at times to see the big two and see kind of some of the lack of talent, the lack of consistency. And then you look over at Ghost Machine and they got this stuff going, and it's longer books, cheaper books, more page count, better art. It's really hard to see how the big two will kind of keep going at the
Yeah.
rate they're at if we get indies that are doing this with top name creatives really going for it. So really pretty good solid month of comics. That's what we have for this month as far as recommendations. If you have a recommendation down below, we always enjoy seeing what you guys read. What are you reading? What's on the top of your stack of comics? Let us know what you think about any of these books that we mentioned. And as always, we will be happy to see you in our next video. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.